Thank you very much. A warm welcome, councillors, members of senior staff, the clergy, members of the gallery and the press. A warm welcome to you to Temora Shire Council's June meeting for 2025, and I declare our meeting open. And also I would add that this meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Temora Shire Council's webpage for public information. The Mayor and councillors were reminded of our oath of office made under Section 23A of the Local Government Act 1993 and our obligations under Council's Code of Conduct to disclose and appropriately manage conflicts of interest. And all present today, we're reminded that whilst we're speaking, we agree that our view and our comments are being recorded and published. We're also reminded that if or when that we are speaking, we're of course to be respectful to others, use appropriate language also. Temora Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures during this council meeting. So with those words, I invite to the chamber, to the microphone, Father Alex Osborne, who is the priest at Sacred Heart. A warm welcome to you, Father Osborne. We're very pleased to have you here in the chamber, but more particularly very pleased to have you here as the parish priest for the Sacred Heart in Temora Shire. So we'd ask you to please lead us in your opening prayer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to be a part of our community. So we begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Almighty God, Creator of all that is good, of justice and mercy, we ask you, Lord, to watch over, to guide and guard our deliberations and our thoughts this meeting. We pray that we might have the courage to live out your will, to live in accordance with what is good, true, and just. We ask, as always, that with your help, we will be able to carry out your will here on earth as it is in heaven. We give you thanks, Lord, for the wonderful gifts of your goodness in our community and our people. And we ask you to be with us, to guide us and guard us, and lead us into the fullness of all truth, justice, and good. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father Osborne. Their words are very good medicine for the chamber, so thank you very much indeed. Now we go to councillors, our acknowledgement of country. As we begin our meeting today, Temora Shire Council acknowledge our traditional owners of Temora Shire's land and waters, the Wiradjuri people. We acknowledge their continued connection to country and culture, and we pay our heartfelt respects to elders both past and present, acknowledging their contribution to the Temora Shire community, a place we all call home. So with those words, we go to apologies, and we do have Councillor Dukic has been called to an accident out on Goldfields Way as a member of the RFS Thanering Brigade. So we hope and pray there's nothing too serious there, but Councillor Dukic does intend to attend this meeting in due course. Any other apologies? No? Well, it's not an apology, as a matter of fact. So we will proceed. Any declaration of any interest, councillors, please, or senior staff at this time? Go to Councillor Judd.
Just item 4.8 in the Assets and Operations Committee report.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. Further declarations at this time? If not, We will proceed, keeping in mind you can declare, of course, when we introduce the relevant reports. Let's go to confirming the minutes of our last meeting, which was held in May. Someone please move that they be received as true and correct. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair moved. Seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. Any matters arising, Madam General Manager? Oh, I beg your pardon. Councillor Smith, sorry, we forgot that you weren't able to be at our last formal council meeting because of obviously your health issues. So I will go, if the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, is happy, Councillor Mann will second that the minutes are confirmed. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you. But it's great to have you back, Councillor Smith. You know that the prayers and love and strength of us all have been right behind you, and it's a real joy to see you back in the saddle. And matters arising, Madam General Manager, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. No, there's no matters arising. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, there's no mayoral minute. So let us now proceed to our committee reports. And we'll start page 11, the minutes of Council's Assets and Operations Committee report. And the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair's leave. Councillor Judd, just before you excuse yourself, what we thought we would do after the report's received is, given that there's several that have declared various interests, that we'd go each item in the assets. So you're welcome to stay until yours comes up. Thank you, Councillor Judd. We'll go to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll move the report be received.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor has moved the report is received. Is there a seconder for the motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Mann. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Let's go to page 12. So, councillors, we'll just different process, just given the nature of those declarations of interest. So we go to page 12 of the Assets and Operations Committee 4.1, Class 2.1 Local Road Centreline Marking. You have a recommendation there on the bottom of page 14 for Council to consider. I go to Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I support the recommendations in the committee report. This motion concerns our Class 2 local roads, seal roads, and it's been a 40-year program trying to get our seal roads up to standard. I remember in the first early days of council, a lot of our seal roads in those days were just single lane bitumen, and over the years we've been widening the bitumen, and in recent times we've been good to see that we put the centre line marking in it. So now we've gone to what I call a lot safer roads than what we had before. And today, with bigger and longer trucks on the roads, I think it's essential that we keep marking the centre lines, and I'll support the motion.
Thanks very much, Councillor Judd. Councillors, someone prepared to move the committee recommendation, or is there an alternate view? Councillor Smith.
Second the motion.
So Councillor Judd was happy to move that recommendation from the committee 25-2025. Councillor Smith seconded the motion. Further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. We now proceed to page 15, 4.2, the assessment of roads suitable for verge widening to accommodate street trees. And there's a recommendation on page 17 for Council to consider. Is someone prepared to move that recommendation, or is there an alternate view? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
I'll move the recommendation on bottom page 17.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor has moved the recommendation, page 17. Is there a second for the motion? Thank you, Councillor Mann. Moved, seconded, discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Let's proceed to page 18, 4.3, final sports facility fees and charges. What's wrong? Oh, yes, thank you. So in relation to 4.3, final sports facilities fees and charges, we have interest being declared from the Director of Environmental Services, who is a committee member of the Rugby Union Football Club and the Executive Manager of Engineering Services is declaring a non-pecuniary and choosing to vacate the chamber. Thank you. Councillors, you have that report there in front of you, and you also have a recommendation to consider as well, which happens to be on page 23 and 24. Is someone prepared to move that way, or is an alternate view? The Deputy Mayor.
Now I'm prepared to move the recommendation.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, has moved the recommendation in relation to sport facility fees and charges. A second for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Moved, seconded, discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare that motion carried. Thank you very, very much. Invite the Director and the Executive Manager back to the chamber. Is he coming in?
Yeah, he's just ducked off.
I've ducked off. We welcome back to the chamber the Director of Environmental Services. During your temporary absence, Council have resolved to adopt the recommendation. And that, I understand, is the next report is over to page 41, 4.4, the review of development infrastructure deferred payment. And on page 42, there's a recommendation for Council to consider. Is someone prepared to move the recommendation? Councillor Judd, Councillor Bushell, moved and seconded. Discussion? There's no discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. I thank you. Let us now proceed over to page 43, 4.5, the draft development control plan, residential development, industrial development, completion of exhibition report. And we had on page 44 a recommendation from that committee for Council to consider, and of course, being a planning matter, we were asked to raise our hands of those that were in favour and those that were opposed. So is someone prepared to move that committee resolution? Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Second for the motion. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved and seconded. Further discussion? There's no further discussion. I will put it. All those of that opinion, please raise your hands and declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Councillors, we now proceed over to 4.6, which is Temora Christmas decorations, and there is a committee recommendation there on page 55 for Council to consider. Is someone prepared to move the motion? Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to highlight the fact that I recorded my vote against the recommendation for this report. The motion said that they didn't want to include a Christmas tree in the middle of the main street. I was part of that committee and put forward the fact that a Christmas tree of that sort of significance would create some sort of nostalgia for our youth to look at our main street. So for me, I kind of see holographic stars, 8 of them on posts, being quite insignificant, and would much prefer to see that removed to save costings and see the traditional Christmas tree be included within the motion. So I feel quite strongly on that because our main street is a beautiful main street how it is now, and we've done really well with that. We have copped a lot of criticism over the years regarding our lack of Christmas decorations throughout the main street, and I truly feel that a focal point would be having a lovely Christmas tree within the middle of the street. When I look back at my Christmases, it was always around a Christmas tree. It wasn't around a holographic star. So that's why I would like to see that amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Bush. Just to clarify, though, that there is still a Christmas tree, just in case those that are listening thinking that the recommendation is for us not to have a Christmas tree. There's a recommendation that we do have one. Perhaps some may argue that it's seen better days. But at the end of the day, there was no recommendation from the committee to suggest about removing the tree. So just wanted to clarify that. Councillor Bushell, would you like to, because again, this is just a committee recommendation, so you're entitled to move a motion in relation to this report 4.6.
One thing I forgot to mention, I know that I know we shouldn't get 2 bites at the cherry, and I do apologise, but the one thing that I thought about when I was driving over here this afternoon was there's going to be some sort of cost of putting up 8 individual holographic stars throughout the main street. There's going to be traffic control at separate locations. So I see that those type of things are going to be an added cost rather than, saving $1. I think that putting those up in those strategic little locations will cost us more in the end. So I know that we're trying to save money, but I think in the long term, one focal area for an erection of a gorgeous tree, not a drab tree, would create the nostalgia the Main Street needs. So on that, I am finished now, thank you. I would like to move an amendment to see that we select
It's not an amendment, Councillor Bushell, a motion.
Motion, thank you.
Yep.
Select option 2, excluding holographic stars to purchase and install new Christmas decorations in Temora for Christmas 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. We have that motion, option 2, you're moving excluding the holographic stars, but including the traditional Christmas tree with the Star of David on top, the fairy lights for the Chinese elms ×4, the festoon lighting for 4 trees, and freight installation, etc., which would be a saving of around that 14,500. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Mann. Are you seconding the motion? No. Seconder, thank you. Councillor Hawken. Moved, seconded, discussion. Councillor Mann.
Mr Mayor, I was just wondering, because what we did, we cut the budget in the committee meeting from 50 to 25. So is there a chance that we can just give the committee the 25 and they can spend the 25 to put their tree up, or do as they wish, and take the stars out of the equation?
So, thank you, Councillor Mann. I understand that you're suggesting that you're taking the holographic stars out. Are you suggesting, Councillor Mann, that we just fund the traditional Christmas tree and exclude the other costings? Councillor Mann.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I was just saying, yeah, we'll fund the Christmas tree, but just set the budget at 25.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Mann. Did you wish to say something? Yeah, I will now go to the General Manager for some advice. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to be clear, the Christmas tree is 23,765. That doesn't include installation. So even with the inclusion of some installation, pretty much according to that suggestion, you would only get the Christmas tree put up.
Thank you. Okay, so we have currently before us, we have a motion from Councillor Bushell and seconded Councillor Hawken that Council select option 2, excluding the holographic stars for Council to purchase and install new Christmas tree decorations in Temora for Christmas 2025 and onwards. So this will not be an ongoing cost. So that is the motion that's before us. Is there an amendment? If there's not an amendment, I'm going to put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. No, I declare the motion carried, noting Councillor Irvine's vote against. So thank you very much. And again, thank you to that Sunset Committee for their efforts, and Mr Director, Mr Dunstan and your team for leading that crew. Councillors, let us now proceed over the pages to 4.7. Page 79, Community Energy Upgrades Fund Round 2 Grant Application. There's a recommendation on page 80. Someone prepared to move that way or an alternate view? Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, Councillor Hawken. Thank you. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Let us now proceed to page 81, 4.8, Rates Payment Options, Post Bill Pay. Councillor Judd is vacating the chamber, declaring his interest. And we have on page 82, Councillors, a recommendation for Council to consider that Council discontinue the use of post-bill pay from the 1st of July this year. Thank you. Councillor Bushell, you're moving that way. Thank you. Is there a seconder for the motion, please? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Over to page, I beg your pardon, Councillor Judd. Councillor Hawken, would you mind fetching Councillor Judd, please? Thank you. Welcome back to the chamber, Councillor Judd. During your temporary absence, Council resolved to adopt the recommendation from the committee unanimously. So thank you. Over to page 83, 4.9, IPART Review of Valuer General Prices. There is a recommendation from the committee that Council receive and note that report. Someone prepared to move that direction? Councillor Smith, thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, has seconded. Moved, seconded. Discussion on the motion. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
I find it almost amusing that tried to increase the rate from $9.16 to $11.62 per valuation, and after the consultation period they set it at $7.93. So you don't often see those sort of things happen.
No, you do not, Mr Deputy Mayor, and it's very encouraging, which I commend the committee for proposing to write that letter to the chairman and the members of the IPART tribunal. It's they're obviously listening and knowing that financial sustainability is the number one issue, particularly for rural, regional, remote councils. Did I put that motion? If there's no discussion, further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. Over to page 85, 4.10. Electric Vehicle Fleet Incentive Grant Application. On page 86, there is a committee recommendation to endorse the actions of senior staff and accept the funding to support the purchase of an electric vehicle for Pinnacle Community Services, Community Transport Service in the current financial year. Thank you. Councillor Hawken has moved that way. Second for the motion. Thank you, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Moved, seconded. Discussion. Discussion will go to Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to add at that meeting how I expressed congratulations to staff, always looking above and beyond for improving our fiscal process regarding grants. Grants aren't easy to come by, and grants are restrictive in their objectives. So congratulations to our staff for always being on the front foot.
Thanks very much, Councillor Bush, and I think all in the chamber would warmly endorse those words, so thank you. Let us proceed to page 87, 4.11. I beg your pardon. Oh, haven't I? Oh, sorry, discussion on the, on the motion. I was on a roll. If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. On the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Now we go to 4.11 on page 87. Safer Local Roads and Infrastructure Program, Tranche 3. There's a committee recommendation on the top of page 89 that we recommend the Council to endorse the proposed application, undertake the widening of Bushells Road, segment 2, to a 7 metre seal on 10 to 12 metre pavement, including culvert widening. Is there someone prepared to move? Councillor Bushell.
I just wanted to note that I declared a non-pecuniary interest on that report.
Yes, you did. That's noted in the report, and Councillor Bushell has noted that once again. Councillor Smith.
Move that way.
Thank you. Councillor Smith's moving the recommendation in relation to 4.11. Is there a seconder for the motion? Councillor Mann. Thank you. Moved, seconded, discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. That, would you believe, is the end of the Assets and Operations Committee. And again, I know it may have seemed a little clunky, but in order for us to handle those interests, I think that was the right way to go. Do we need a motion to adopt? No, because we've done them individually. Yep, thank you. Now, let us proceed to page 95, the minutes of Council's Economic Development and Visitations Committee report, and Councillor Judd is the chairman.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll move the report we received.
Thank you. Councillor Judd has moved the report is received. Is there a second for the motion, please? Thank you, the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Sinclair moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillor Judd.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. The main two items were we had an update on the economic development in the Shire, and also another item on trying to get a task force to promote the Air Park estate. Are the main two items.
Thank you very much, Councillor Judd. I go to Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I also wanted to note that I was a non-pecuniary but didn't leave for that session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, certainly non-pecuniary and chose to remain in the chamber. Thank you. There's no comments. Is someone prepared to move the Economic Development Visitations Committee report and its recommendations, please? Thank you, Councillor Judd. Is there a seconder for the motion? Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, moved, seconded, discussion. No discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much indeed. Now that is the committee reports. We now proceed to page 105, delegates' reports. And thank you to those councillors that are delegates of council that that you have shared those representations to our executive assistant. Does any delegates wish to speak to their report? I will go to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
I'd just like to particularly report on the Temora Art Prize. It was held last Friday, I think, Thursday. Yeah. Once again, very well run, very well represented. I've been going to these for a few years now, and I think every year it's the quality is getting better and better, but I think it was quite exceptional this year. It's there for a month, and it's well worth taking the time to go and have a look at the works that have been done out there. we've got a couple of very praising comments from the art centre and the manager there, Jeremy, saying that there's people coming from Wagga, young Cootamundra. I was told that there's one particular woman who was from Wagga that can't believe that Temora can have something like this and Wagga hasn't got anything that remotely resembles it. So yeah, it's a bit of a feather in our caps, I think. So good.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. That sounds very similar to they wish they had a lake like Lake Centenary. Anyway, I'm going to bite my tongue to go any further. Any further delegates' reports? No. Just to remind Council, the General Manager and I attended the Regional Roads and Transport Forum in Orange last week, and it wasn't as cold as what we thought, but it certainly was a very, very worthwhile occasion, and the Mayor of Orange's councillors and staff were very, very welcoming, and the Minister for Transport, Regional Transport and Roads, Minister Aitchison, was very warmly received. But what was of particular interest, or I suppose an eye-opener for some of us, was the Chief Engineer of the Engineers Institute. He was flagging the capabilities of artificial intelligence. I know we all get a bit nervous when we hear that term in some cases, but it was just fascinating how it's working in some of our rural and regional councils, already very expensive in terms of how they were using it to identify issues with roads, with potholes or curb and guttering that was unaligned, etc. But it was very fascinating and something that I think REROC were looking to at least consider. I understand Blandshire are looking at being a part of it. I think it costs about $20,000 to be part of it. So very, very expensive. So I think this council has initially taken the view, let's see what others are doing in this space, and they can sort of work out any hurdles that may be there. So anyway, we just wanted to share with you that was a very worthwhile occasion. Any further delegates' reports? If not, let us proceed to page 106. The Mayor's report for the month of May, and there's a recommendation that the Mayor's report be received and noted on page 109. Thanks, Councillor Mann has moved that way. Seconded, Councillor Hawken. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion on the motion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Just before, councillors, we move on, you just will note in the Mayor's report, of course, we had Red Shield appeal the Temora zone, and the Temora zone encompasses Temora Area Park, Coolum and Gairn Maynard Lethen. And we continue, we're over the 23 plus, actually near the $24,000 mark, and again, for the Temora zone to be the most generous, bless you, the most generous per head of population in Australia is something that all of us should be mighty proud of. And again, we were presented an award recently, our communities, and I just think it's something that we should never forget, that we have a very generous community, and that is a fact. Over to page 110, staff reports. A motion to receive those, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Sinclair. Seconded for the motion, Councillor Hawken. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you. Over to page 111, the General Manager's report. 12.1, the calendar of events for June. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through you, the report is as written. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Councillor, see another busy time there for June. Perhaps a little quieter in July, but August is a another big month. There's a recommendation there for Council to consider that the calendar of events be noted. Thank you. Councillor Hawken has moved the recommendation. Seconded, Councillor Smith. Thank you. Moved, seconded, discussion. If there's no discussion, we'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. On the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Over to page 112, 12.2, the seals for June. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through you, Mr Mayor, it is a busy time of the year for funding agreements generally for council, so you'll see that reflected in the affixing of the seals. There is an additional one that I would like to add and bring to council's attention. It's for the Department of Health and Aged Care Commonwealth Home Support Program, so CHSP, and that is for the funding agreement from the 1st of July 2025 to the 30th of June 2027. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Councillors, you have the report there on page 112 with that additional seal that the General Manager's asking Council to consider affixing. There's a recommendation that Council endorse the seal being affixed to the documents, or there's an alternate view. Councillor Smith, you're moving that way. Thank you. Seconder for the motion. Thank you, Councillor Judd. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Page 113, 12.3, the Public Accounts Committee report for assets, premises and funding of the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. Very important inquiry. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This has been a matter that Council has strongly held a position on for a number of years in terms of not recognising the RFS assets, and hopefully with the recommendations from this committee that they will be endorsed and adopted by the government and transition moving forward. The report is a receive and note report. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. The recommendation is to receive and note the report. However, I'd ask Council to consider very seriously in writing to the Emergency Services Minister for New South Wales, Minister Dibb, thanking them for the inquiry, A, and B, encourage the government to adopt the recommendations post haste. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. That was my inquiry to this report as to who we would thank. So thank you with your articulation of who to send it to. So can I move that with that inclusion that the Mayor had just mentioned?
Thank you. So, thank you, Councillor Bushell. So that's three parts: the receive and note report, and further that we write to Minister Dibb, thanking them for the inquiry, and further to encourage the government to implement the recommendations as soon as possible.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Bushell. Seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Moved, seconded, discussion. I think, councillors, again, it's something that we need to give a bouquet, and we make no apologies for giving credit where it is earned, regardless of who is in government. And quite simply, Minister Honig, our local government minister, had the courage to refer it to the Public Accounts Committee, bless you. And then the government, of course, proceeded with that. And I will say, in my role as chairman of CMA, I rang each and every one of the members of that inquiry committee to thank them for listening, for reading submissions, and it was almost like they've never had anyone ring them before to thank them. But we're a little sceptical when the members of that committee were from metropolitan councils. However, to their credit, they have listened, and now it's up to the government to certainly implement those recommendations. Any further discussion? I know there's some RFS gurus around the chamber, but I think we've got to have hope. Without hope and faith, what have we got? So if nothing further in terms of discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Page 115, 12.4. Temora Flyers Incorporated Youth in Aviation Event Application Request for Council Assistance. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We've received a request, an event application and a request for a donation towards the Temora Flyers Youth and Aviation event. It's presented there for Council's consideration.
Thank you very much, Madam General Manager. Welcome to the Chamber, Councillor Dukic. We appreciate and admire that you have, as a member of the Fanaring Rural Fire Service, that you have been out at an incident. We hope and pray that there's not anything too serious. And thanks for making the effort to come to our council meeting this evening. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just going back to the report. I had an inquiry. It talks about the risks within the report, saying that road closure may take longer than usual due to unforeseen reasons not known until the event day. So I wondered if we approved the event and then also endorsed it as a donation, do we need some fluidity in the recommendation to say that it allows for more money through that process if it does go more than what is suggested?
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. I go to the General Manager for response.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So in terms of, I guess, what we have some of those known costs available. In relation to the road closure on the day, we've got a costing outlined there at $61 per hour for 2 hours for 2 staff. So if council were of a mind to increase the amount in relation to the donation, that estimate is available for council's consideration.
I would remind the Chamber that our donations budget, remember going forward, will be reduced from 15 to 10. Obviously, we're trying to show restraint as best as we can, given the very, very difficult circumstances that council finds itself in, along with every other rural and remote and regional council as well. However, I'll go to Councillor Irvine.
Just a question, Director Admin and Finance. What's the balance of this year's donations budget, please?
Thank you. The Director of Administration and Finance.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I haven't got those figures, but this event would be in September 25, which would fall in the 25-6 budget year.
That's right.
My thoughts are if there's money remaining in the current budget, we might be able to forward the support to the committee prior to the financial year ending and get it in the remainder of this year's budget if there's room in the current budget.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. I just remind you, wait till you have the call. Thank you. The Director.
Through you, Mr Mayor. So a lot of the nature of these costs are largely council costs, so meaning road closures and event application fees, etc. So I'm not sure that that's a solution, actually.
Thank you. Councillor Irvine.
Is there an opportunity to pay them in advance?
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. The Director.
I don't believe so.
Thank you. Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll support council giving support for this event. The delegate for the Temora Flyers Group reported at the last Era of Dome Users meeting. It's a bit of a coup for Temora. This is only the second one of this type that's been held. The first one was in Brisbane. This has been the first one in New South Wales. And expecting and hoping to get at least 500 young flyers. Now, I might have mentioned back in the Economic Development Committee report that we're looking for ways to promote our aviation estate. One way of promoting it is to get flyers to come to Temora, and when they see the possibilities, they might invest in the estate in sometime in the future. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Judd. Go to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I did read here that they are charging to come to this, I'm pretty sure. There's a
Yep, there is a charge.
this is going to take more than 10% of our donations budget for the year. So I'd prefer to see that perhaps we just donate 50% of the costs to it. So
Thank you. Are you moving that way, Mr Deputy Mayor?
That we donate 50% of the costs.
Thank you.
associated.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Moving that we donate 50% of the cost back in full support of this very significant event. Noting, of course, as was noted earlier, the reduced budget that we have in the donations budget. Is there a second for the motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved, seconded, discussion. Discussion, the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just in relation to the matter that was raised earlier around the road closure and the amount of hours that would be required, it would be helpful for council staff if we had a financial amount of up to. So if you were to say that the 50% was $550, for example, or something of that nature, that would make it helpful for staff to know where we're capped at in relation to the donations budget.
Thank you. So I'll go back to the mover in a second. So, Mr Deputy Mayor.
I'll make it up to, we'll make a round figure, $600.
Okay, thank you. 600. Second, happy? Thank you very much. Move second, discussion. So the Deputy Mayor, do you wish to speak? You're right, thank you. Go now to Councillor Irvine.
I'm just looking over a report that we received in March and prior to some expenditure in the donations budget. In March, there would have been about $9,000 remaining in the budget for 24-25 in March. This request has come to council prior to the end of the financial year. I haven't got any issue with getting some approximate figures and making a donation from the donations budget to this committee to facilitate or to cover their expenses, even if those expenses will occur in September. The matters before us now, we've got money in the budget now. There's unspent funds. This is the last meeting of the financial year. And in answer to the Deputy Mayor's concerns about expending 10% of our future budget, well, we've got money available in the current budget, and the costs are estimated here at $1,114, and I really don't see any reason why that amount cannot be donated to this committee prior to the end of the financial year, given the surplus in our current donations budget.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. Further discussion on the motion that I'm about to put. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So within the report, we were given adopted fees for 2025-2026. So that's what we're looking at within the report. So with that suggestion that was just made, we don't have 24-25 figures in front of us. So the total would be variable to what we're seeing right now. So I'm happy with the original motion that was put.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. I will now put the motion to us that is before us, and that is that from Councillor Sinclair, our Deputy Mayor, and Councillor Hawken, that we donate $600 to the financial support to the event costs to Temora Flyers Incorporated to support the event. Doesn't sound quite right? Yeah. It was resolved that Council donate up to $600 to financial support of event costs to the Temora Flyers Incorporated. Do we want to specify the event? For Youth in Aviation. Thank you. So the mover and seconder, we're now happy with what's on the screen. Thank you. I'll put the motion to the chamber. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried, noting Councillor Irvine, Councillor Marm's objection. Thank you very much. We now proceed to page 124, 12.5. The Local Traffic Committee call for the alternate delegate, the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We've got quite a small number of delegates to our Temora Local Traffic Committee, and we, from time to time, have found it difficult to get a quorum for that particular committee, especially if one of the committee members might have a conflict of interest or alternate meeting on that day. We've reviewed the guidelines for these committees, and we can have alternative sub-delegates to the committee, and so we're asking council to consider putting forward some sub-delegates for it, noting that we could nominate a council staff member as well as an elected representative.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I know that I expressed an interest at the beginning when we went through committees and recognised that Councillor Smith, back in his previous term, was the delegate, and then Councillor Max Oliver was. But on that, looking at the schedule of the meeting times, it won't fit my schedule, so I'm now nominating Councillor Judd to be the delegate.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Councillor Judd, you accept that nomination?
Yes, Mr Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. Is there a seconder for the nomination? Councillor Smith, thank you. Moved. Seconded. Councillor Bushell, Councillor Smith's moving that Councillor Judd is the alternate Temora Shire Council delegate. So keeping in mind Councillor Smith is our delegate and is also the chairman of that committee. Do we need another Madam General Manager in terms of a staff member if, worst case, Councillor Smith, Councillor Judd can't attend?
Through you, Mr Mayor, it is an option available to us. It's probably not a bad idea to have a backup plan, but it's up to council.
Thank you. Councillor Bushell.
I'm happy to include a member of staff that has the credentials to be on that committee.
Thank you. So I would have thought that our Executive Manager of Engineering Services would be that delegate, Madam General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I think that would be an ideal delegate.
Thank you. Don't you?
As long as I don't have to chair the meeting.
No, Councillor Smith's the chairman. So you're happy? That's excellent. Thank you. So as a mover and seconder, happy to include Councillor Bushell, Councillor Smith, to include Councillor Judd as our subalternate delegate and the Executive Manager of Engineering Services as the alternate sub-delegate. Thank you. Councillor Smith, you're happy?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you. Moved and seconded. No further discussion. If not, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. And thank you very much, Councillor Judd and Mr Executive Manager, for your agreeing to that role. Now let's go over to page 125, 12.6. The adoption of the draft Integrated Planning and Reporting, IP&R documents, including our 2025-2026 budget. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This wraps up a significant piece of work for council officers, our community and our councillors. As part of the exhibition or the public exhibition phase, we trialled some new engagement sessions entitled Cuppa with Council, which was held in Temora, Springdale and Area Park. And over those 3 sessions, we had about approximately 20 people that we spoke to. As a result of those sessions, there wasn't any proposed changes to the documents themselves. A lot of the feedback actually reinforced some of the key issues that were reflective in our plan for the future in particular. There were some specific items raised in relation to signage, potholes, but they will be managed through staff through the customer request management system. And so we are recommending to council that those documents be adopted, noting that we've been reviewing policy G21, which is a general policy, and for councillors not familiar with that policy, it has been a collection of various resolutions of council and matters that have come before council over several years, put into one policy. We're looking to move all of those items out of G21 and put them into more appropriate locations so that they're not missed by council officers, and they're more visually accessible. And so one of those is a policy position around the community centre, and to ensure that subsidised rental, which is a position of council, is reflected, we've recommended that be included as a specific item within our plan for the future. So that is just something I would like to draw the councillors' attention to. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. A very, very important report, and Councillor Bushell, you have the call.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The feedback I've received for some of the information sessions has all been positive. The person who facilitated, I can't recall their name, was the members said that they did a great job. I know with our 4-day session, it was very thorough. We knew exactly where we stood with these documents. So I felt like the whole process was an educated process. And yeah, no missing elements. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Seconder, Councillor Dukic. Moved, seconded, discussion. Discussion on the motion, Councillor Irvine.
There's a strong reference to a special rate variation and a definite element to it. The wording for mine's a little bit strong, as though it's unavoidable. So I'm not happy with the inclusion of that in that strength. And I don't believe all the avenues of cost savings and efficiencies have been explored. I think that should be a last resort and not an objective of council.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. At the end of the day, Councillor Irvine, that matter has been flagged for some time. Now, of course, it's up to the council of the day to consider all cost-saving measures. I think that we do and will be continue to do even more so. But that is a discussion that this council has to have. Financial sustainability is the number one issue that we are facing, and that is a discussion that this council must have, just as every other council across New South Wales, especially rural, regional, remote councils, are having. They're very tough discussions to have, of course, and you're quite right, everything should be considered and must be and will be. But we cannot, in my view, very strong view, we cannot run away from the fact that we are struggling financially along with every other rural council, and that must be part of the overall considerations of us going forward. Thank you. Councillor Irvine.
It's just in response. I believe it does need to be discussed. The inclusion of it and the wording of it in the documents indicate to me that it's been decided and it's being prepared.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. The General Manager, do you have a response to Councillor Irvine's assumption?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is the first time we've received feedback in relation to the wording of that particular strategic project. I'll read the wording of the project out for the benefit of the council.
Thank you.
It's 5.1.4, which is undertake the data analysis and stakeholder engagement required to position council to apply for a special rate variation. It doesn't say that we will undertake a special rate variation. It says that we will undertake the work necessary so that council is in a position, should it choose to apply for a special rate variation.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. That clarifies that. Thank you. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A lot of you all know that I do a lot of late night reading. This isn't a foreign objective within many councils and their strategic plan. If you do some late night reading and look at many city, regional, rural councils, they all have a similar objective within their strategic approach regarding fiscal processes. So, it's definitely not something that we've probably seen in many rural councils, 15 years ago, but it is a common trend now, and you quite often read in the paper that certain councils have all applied for special rate variations. It's a process that is live and it's running, and it's maybe something that we do have to evaluate, and I'm happy with that objective of the strategy.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. That's, again, what I was alluding to earlier, that there are councils all over the state in rural, regional and remote communities that have been on this journey, are currently on it or about to embark on the journey, and quite frankly, there's no other option for many of them. But again, it is a live option for this council to consider. Councillor Irvine.
Again, and just to finish off, even allocating those resources and the staff time to undertake all of that work prior to a solid resolution of council to pursue it does seem to be somewhat wasteful. And in reference to some of these special rate variations, some of them are due to no fault of the councils, through just pure infrastructure requirements due to maybe a small ratepayer base and elements like that. There are other councils in the state, like North Sydney Council, who've blown about $100 million on a swimming pool venture that they budgeted at 20, and now the bill for that's fallen at the rate of the feet of the ratepayers in the form of a special rate variation. So I'm not saying a special rate variation is out of the question, but I really do think the facts need to be on the table, and then if a special rate variation is to be considered, then the resources to apply for that should be allocated at that point in time.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. It would have been very, very pleasing if you had expressed those views during the various workshops and other meetings that we've had in relation to this document. But the Chamber thanks you for your comments. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done, pretty much background work behind the scenes, I suppose, and by staff. You know, it's probably 12 months or more, maybe a couple of years' work to just make sure council is in a position where they need to apply for one. It's pretty hard to make a decision whether we're sure or not. We haven't got anything to make that decision on. So I think at this stage, I would have thought that's whatever's been happening behind the scenes is to put a report to council to say, well, look, this is where we are. Here's the information that you need to make a decision whether we go ahead with a special rate variation or not.
Thanks, Mr. Deputy. It's a very significant undertaking and a very significant journey for any council. If you just talk to them, it's a lot of angst. But at the end of the day, this council will consider what's before it, and we will make the best decision, what we feel is right for our Temora Shire community, and we'll do that every single day of the week. And sometimes it may be popular and sometimes it may not be, but we will do what we must do. And we've kicked this can down the road long enough in relation to avoiding discussing it, and I'm very pleased that it's part of this particular suite of documents. I'm now going to put the motion to you that we adopt that particular IP&R suite of documents. And can I have a look at the motion, please? Councillor Bushell and Councillor Dukic, who has moved that accordingly. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Again, it's going to be a tough year fiscally, but still there's a heck of a lot of good things that Temora Shire will continue to be doing within our budget. Go to page 128. Actually, before I do that, I do want to acknowledge, on behalf of councillors and all present in our community, the General Manager, the directors, managers, all staff involved in this process. A lot of it was new for many of us, the process of IP&R. However, even though some of us may have been sceptical about certain aspects of it, I think we can say with confidence that it went very well, and the engagement is unsurpassed in terms of the Shire community. So our hats off, Madam General Manager, to you and the team. Let's now go to page 128, Engineering Services Department report. We have nil at this time. We go to page 129, the Environmental Services Department report. 14.1, the development application DA 26-2025, proposed new dwelling at 190 Hoskin Street, Temora. The Director.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. This was an issue that was deferred from the May meeting. It was deferred due to councillors requesting some additional information on traffic, parking and permissibility, essentially. The town planner, who was relieving at the time in my position, wrote to the applicant and requested some additional information, which has been provided by the architect and their town planning consultant. Those responses have been tabulated, and the validity of those responses have been discussed by our town planner in those tables throughout the report. Still a recommendation to approved, subject to conditions, and that's articulated on page 154. Put it for council's determination.
Thank you, Mr Director. And I didn't know if the town planner had anything to add, noting that it is the town planner's birthday today. So on behalf of the Chamber, many happy returns for the day, or what's left of it. Do you have anything to add, Madam Town Planner?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. No, nothing to add at this time.
Thank you very much. Councillors, the plan is here for your consideration once again. There is a recommendation there before you that is recommending that Council approve the DA 26-2025 proposed new dwelling adaptive reuse of barn building for storage purposes and community title subdivision at 190 Hoskin Street, Temora, subject to conditions. Is someone prepared to move that way, or is there an alternate view, or is there a comment? Councillor Bushell.
No, I'm happy with the report that we received, and I'm happy to remove the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Bushell is moving the recommendation, page 154. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, seconded.
You're seconding that. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Irvine.
I've reviewed the responses from Mr Farmer on behalf of the applicants. It hasn't put my concerns to bed, and my concerns are that the zoning doesn't support residential development in the absence of a significant business development accompanying it. So, to my mind, that hasn't been satisfied by any of the responses. The argument that the development will support the maintenance of the bank is subjective. The location of a building in such close proximity to the bank may make maintenance such as painting the second storey, plumbing, gutter works and stuff like that difficult in the future, requiring significant access equipment. The addition of a residence in the CBD won't enhance the current business undertakings in the CBD in terms of providing a business to draw additional clientele or patronage to the CBD. So there will be a residence there, there'll be some people residing there, but apart from their own expenditure within the CBD, it won't create a draw card to the CBD. So it's not enhancing the CBD per se. There are examples in towns such as Area Park and Ganmain where a lot of the commercial tenancies have now been converted to residences, and it's a common gripe now that commercial tenants can't get space if they do want to start a business in these village CBDs. But that's just a consequence of there was a big lull in custom. There was no use for the buildings. People converted them into housing. Then, of course, someone comes along and says, I really wish I could have a building to put a business in. And, of course, they've all been taken up. The future use of the bank, whilst it is a bank at the moment, it could be anything. Dale's Camera House was a bank. I think Young Guns over at Younger in a bank. I was involved in a project in Sydney where they wanted to put a KFC in an old bank in Broadway. So we don't know what the future use of the bank may be, and the close proximity of a residence may affect the suitability of it for certain undertakings. I can imagine if it was a KFC, for example, and you had the bins out the back in summertime, living in the residence might be not as comfortable as perhaps it should be with a couple of bins full of chicken in the 40-degree sun. That's just some of the uses that may occur, but I like the look of the building and I'm not against the idea, but I just don't know whether it's the best use of that space for Temora going forward. That said, if you use your crystal ball and you look at the CBD and you look at the online, the shift to online and the lack of bricks and mortar stores or the reduction in bricks and mortar stores across Australia and the trend, maybe I'm jumping at shadows wanting to preserve this commercial space and not lose it for future use as a commercial space. And it might be a case that in 10 years' time, a lot of the shops down the main street do become houses because we've got a housing shortage and certainly a business crisis where businesses are going out backwards. So there's a couple of other notes. I was a little bit disappointed in Mr Farmer's couple of statements regarding litigation. In Mr Farmer's other life, he's the Executive Manager of Development and Environmental Services at Temora Shire Council, making these decisions, and when a decision isn't quite going his way, he threatens legal action twice in the document.
Councillor Irvine, I'd caution you to be very, very careful in relation to your comments.
That's Mr Farmer's position, and this is a job he does on the side. I don't know whether...
I'm just urging you to...
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what he does, and that's his business. That's what he does as his main job, and this is his sideline. So that was disappointing. But look, like I say, I'm concerned about it for those reasons. It's not going to make any impact on my life whatsoever. It's not going to affect my business, but these are just the reservations I've got. I don't think the heritage clause in the LEP was put in for this purpose. However, it does appear to allow it. I think it's been used as somewhat of a loophole in this particular instance. But it's before us. Like I say, I think if this went to a court, Land and Environment Court, I think the fact that it isn't allowed for in the zoning would be a strong thing in council's favour. But the last thing I want council to be doing is going to court, and I certainly... but I do think if it did go to court, I don't think council will have any problems. Mr Farmer himself states that the zoning doesn't allow for this type of development, and then goes on to explain why it should be allowed.
So Councillor Irvine, you have 30 seconds left of your 5.
So In closing, like I say, there's no personal effect on me, but I do want to preserve the CBD for CBD activities in the short to medium term. Down the track, I may be proven wrong, but at this point in time, I can't support residential development in the CBD for those reasons.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. I now go to Councillor Mann.
Yeah, just a question of the Director of Mr Dunstan. Are we going to have any backlash from, if we rezone this to residential from commercial and there's other premises around there? Do you think we'll get a bit of backlash from others who have in the past tried to rezone and haven't been able to, or?
Thank you, Councillor Mann, the Director.
Councillor Martin, this is not an actual rezoning, it's a development application for a specific use. Haven't really had any other requests like this, so I don't think there's any precedent that we've set beforehand that I'm aware of.
Thank you. Go to Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I was one of the people that did ask for it to be deferred. Some of the questions that were had during the meeting, I fully believe that it's been satisfied throughout the report. The questions that we asked, they've been justified. And knowing you have to have certain reasons to decline or disprove a application, you have to have valid reasons under the Environmental Planning Assessment Act for it to go through the local environmental court. And noting that too, the local environment court has sort of a back, like all courts. From what I'm understanding, that there's someone regionally who have one in there, and it's a 2-year wait. So, it's not something that I definitely want to entertain. And now that I've read this full report, I'm very happy to approve.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Further comments, discussion rather on the motion that we have Councillor Bushell and Councillor Smith have moved that Council approve the development application before us. There's no further discussion. I'll go to Councillor Judd, who will wind up debate. Thank you, Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. My concerns at the previous meeting was just with parking and parking spaces and traffic, and that's been addressed in this new report, and I'm happy to support the application.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. That concludes debate. Of course, I'll now put it to the vote, which of course being a planning matter, have a show of hands, please. So all those of that opinion, please raise your hands. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried, noting Councillor Irvine and Councillor Mann's voting against. Thank you very, very much for that. Let us now proceed. Oh, hang on. Is there anything of an urgent late nature from the Director of Environmental Services?
No, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Let us go to page 212, the Department of Administration and Finance Report, 15.1, Rates and Charges for 2025-2026. The Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So now that Council has adopted the operational plan and following exhibition of the fees and charges, which includes rates and charges, Council needs to make the rates for 25-26. A key change to the charges for 25-26 is in relation to the business stormwater charges. We have widely promoted the change to the stormwater charges, and we have received no submissions in relation to that change. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. I do think, councillors, that it's important to note that in relation to the stormwater levy, that Council did promote very widely through with his radio, the local paper, social media, etc. So there was every opportunity for businesses that were concerned to submit their thoughts and their views. However, if this recommendation is indeed approved by Council, I would suggest that there would be even further communications with businesses and the like, if that was the will of council. Councillors, you have a recommendation there on the bottom of page 214 that council make the above rate and charges for 2025-2026, or unless there's an alternate view. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Mr Mayor, I'm prepared to move that council make the rates and charges for 25-26.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Seconder, thank you, Councillor Mann. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I will put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Over to page 215, 15.2. Maximum interest rating for 2025-2026, and the report's in the hands of the Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So each year the Minister for Local Government determines the maximum rate of interest that council can charge on outstanding rates and charges. This year it's been determined to be 10.5%, which is consistent with the 24-5 year. There's a recommendation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. Councillors, you have the report there for you to consider, and there's a recommendation at the bottom of page 215 that we adopt the maximum interest rate of 10.5% for 2025-2026. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
I'll move that way.
Thank you. A seconder for the motion. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. No discussion. If not, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Let's go to page 216, 15.3, the draft fees and charges for 2025-2026. Again, the report is in the hands of the Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So the schedule of fees and charges has been on display since the 19th of May. No submissions were received from the public, but several issues were identified by staff members, which we're looking to have incorporated into the final version of the schedule of fees and charges. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. Councillors, you have the draft fees and charges report. Again, noting there's, a very comprehensive shift in particularly sporting ground fees and facilities, but again, I commend Council and particularly General Manager and our senior team for the manner in which we've engaged the sporting community for them to come along that journey for us, with us. So, councillors, you have a report there and a recommendation that council adopt the schedule of fees and charges for 2025-2026, including the amendments noted within the report. Is someone prepared to move that way, or is there an alternate view? Thank you, Councillor Smith. Has moved the motion. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mann. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. Madam Director, you've had a very, very busy time, and we do thank you from the Chamber for the efforts of you, particularly, and your finance and admin team. There's a heck of a lot of work been put into to our finances. Anything of an urgent late nature?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, over to page 218, correspondence in nil, business with notice nil, notice of motions nil. Do we have any urgent business without notice, please? No, thank you. Councillors, over to page 219. Councillors' information paper. A motion, please, to receive the information. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Hawken moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillors, any items that you wish to highlight out of the Councillors' information paper? Just for you to note, on page 220, our Road Safety Officer report, Mr Bloomfield, the General Manager we'll be inviting him to a committee day so we can meet him for those of us that haven't. So we thank the General Manager for that opportunity. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When I was going through the regulatory control report, I noted that a TV was dumped, and I was a little bit disappointed to read that, because at our community recycling centre, these items are free to dispose of. So maybe it might be paramount to sort of educate our residents again that there are certain elements that you can dispose of that are at no charge, if I can set that out. So that was the only thing that I recalled through the report.
Thank you, Councillor Bush. I see the General Manager's noted those comments, and I think the Chamber would endorse those words. Just a reminder campaign to our Shire community in that regard. Thank you. Any further comments, questions in relation to the information paper? If not, could I please have a motion that we move into closed committee of the whole to consider confidential reports, please? Thank you. Councillor Irvine?
Yeah, I've got a point of order regarding this.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Irvine, are you talking about the information paper?
No, going into confidential.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Councillor Irvine.
There's a matter in confidential that is completely in confidential, but the majority of the report doesn't deal with confidential matters. The Code of Meeting Practice says that the matter can be heard in open and only closed for the receipt of the confidential information relative to the Code of Meeting Practice.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. The matter will be considered and is deemed confidential, the advice that we've received from OLG, and that is where the matters will be consired. Thank you. Councillor Irvine, you do not have the call. Councillor Irvine, you do not have the call. A motion, please, to proceed into closed committee of the whole, please. Thank you, Councillor Dukic. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, moved and seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. For the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much to the members of the gallery for your patience and persistence. It's great to have the members in the gallery taking an interest. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are back in open council, and I advise council that the following motions have been brought from closed session into open, and I'll ask the General Manager to read those. Thank you. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was resolved that the reports of the Assets and Operations Committee held on the 10th of June 2025 be received. It was resolved that the reports and recommendations as presented in the Assets and Operations Committee meeting held on the 10th of June 2025 as presented be adopted. It was resolved that the minutes of the Economic Development Committee held on the 10th of June 2025, it was resolved that the reports be received, and it was resolved that the reports and recommendations as presented be adopted. In relation to the Springdale Flood Warning System Investigation and Design Tender Assessment, it was resolved that Council selects Stantec to conduct the Springdale Flood Warning System Investigation and Design. In relation to the Temora Airfield Tourist Park management proposal, it was resolved that Council approves entering into a management agreement with the Camper Van and Motorhome Club of Australia for the Temora Airfield Tourist Park for a period of 3 years commencing 1st of July 2025 with the option for a further 3-year renewal period. Endorses revenue sharing option 2. 3. Allocates $8,000 for the Caravan Park Capital Works budget to establish CMCA operations funded by Caravan Park revenues. 4. Contracts a selected contractor to undertake maintenance and cleaning services at the rates outlined in the report. And 5. Continues to maintain responsibility for general infrastructure, utilities, insurance and cleaning supplies. In relation to the Shire Boundary Signs report, it was resolved that Council receive and note this report, and further that Council writes to Irvine Signs in accordance with the legal advice, and further that Council receive a report on the performance of Irvine Signs as a contractor to Council since engaged to undertake the boundary signs. In relation to the Code of Conduct report, it was resolved that Council, under Section 440G of the Local Government Act 1993 and under provisions of 7.37C, 7.46, 7.58C and 7.59 of the Procedures for the Administration of the Code of Conduct, officially and formally censure and refer to the Office of Local Government, Councillor Anthony Irvine, for further action under the misconduct provisions of the Local Government Act, the following findings of fact by an independent investigator and breaches of the Code of Conduct on a social media platform. 1. Ventilating a finalised Code of Conduct matter. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a and b of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 2. Statements about Gary Lavelle and Councillor Belinda Bushell. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a and b of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 3. Statements about a councillor. Councillor Irvine's conduct breaches clauses 3.1a, b and e of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 4. Statements about Councillor Sinclair. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a, b and e of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 5. Ventilated and criticised private business relationship with Council. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a, b, c and f of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 6. Disparaged the Council and the Office of Local Government. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a and b of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 7. Statements about Councillor Bushell and work performance for Council. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a, b, e and g of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 8. Management of a previous Code of Conduct matter. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a and b of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 9. Statements about Mayor Rick Furman. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clause 3.1a, b, c and e of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 10. Statements about credibility and accuracy of a media release. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a, b, c and e of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 11. Failure to maintain confidentiality. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a and b of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 12. Misleading statements about the investigation. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clause 3.1a, b and c of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 13. Statements expressing contempt for the process. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a, b, c and d of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. 14. Further statements about Councillor Bushell. Councillor Irvine's conduct breached clauses 3.1a, b, e and g of the Code of Conduct and Part 4 of the social media policy. And further, that the General Manager write to Councillor Irvine formally setting out his obligations under the WHS Act to take reasonable care not to adversely affect the health and safety of others and to request that the offending social media content be removed. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam General Manager. There being no further business for Temora Shire Council, I do thank you very, very much for your attendance, and I will formally please have a motion to adopt those closed motions into open. I beg your pardon. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, Councillor Dukic moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. I do thank you. Again, thanks so much. I know it's been a very tough meeting, but I do thank you all very, very much. And for those that are able to join us for dinner, it is in-house here in the committee room. So we look forward to seeing you then. And with those words, I declare the meeting closed.